and fodder for discussion after we publish it. But we tried to synthesize it to 10 kind of fundamental changes. And these aren't etched in stone, these are being put out there for discussion. And let me just go through them very quickly. First, we need to overhaul the commission compensation model. It's the dominant model, it's the only choice the consumer has, and there's a lot of distrust around it. There's no question that home sellers love pushing off the risk to a realtor and paying after the fact. There's no question that buyers like not having to pay anything up front. But they're also very, very suspicious of the commission model. And it's our feeling, and this came from our readers again, that we need alternatives. There should be a robust marketplace of choices, not just this single model, like there is in most industries. There should be hourly fees, there should be a fixed fee, a flat fee, there should be a fee plus a bonus. There needs to be more competition, and once and for all, we should wipe out dual agency and even exclusive listings, in my opinion. The second one is, it's time that the federal government do what it used to do, and that's regulate the types of mortgages that are available out there. Our grand experiment with alternative mortgages failed. We've had usury laws for 1,000 years. It's time that we regulated what kind of mortgages people are allowed to get. So the suggestion here is only allow 15, 30, and 40-year fixed-rate mortgages and 5, 7, and 10-year adjustable-rate mortgages. And only for people with good credit, ability to pay, and reasonable down payments. Let's not set up people for failure again. Third is there needs to be a more efficient real estate industry, reducing costs and promoting services that favor the consumer, not just the industry. There's too many parties feeding off this thing. Franchises, brokers, agents, mortgage brokers, title companies, settlement services. They all, in one way or another, get sales commissions or pay sales commissions. The cost of a transaction is too high. It needs to be overhauled so it's more affordable. And this is particularly important when we're not in a high inflation environment. Turning over real estate at this expense is ridiculous. Fourth, we need to consolidate the MLS into one single national MLS database. It's time to end the fiefdoms. It's time to make data accessible. And this should be done, though, with oversight. It's our recommendation that oversight should come from a joint consumer advocate and industry group that looks over the data to make sure it's not used for anti-competitive purposes, to make sure it meets fair housing laws, and that there are standards. Number 5, we need an entirely tougher new regulatory framework for real estate agents and mortgage brokers, something that the Obama administration is talking about. We had way too many unqualified people selling real estate. We need tougher licensing rules, tougher education standards, continuing education standards, and better enforcement. It's our belief there should be a national standard for this. There should be work experience required before you are licensed. And then we think states should be able to enact tougher state standards to proceed. By the way, the folks in the back, if you have a seat next to you, raise your hand, because I'd love to get you a seat. Come on up, One thing's for certain is consumers did not understand the risk in the housing bubble, during the housing bubble. So we need, and number 6 is provide buyers and sellers with vastly improved market analytics. There needs to be better microdata, and there needs to be accountability. If people are going to forecast the future to their clients, they need to be held accountable for those predictions and those statements they make. Every buyer and seller, we think, should be given a comprehensive report that quantifies the risk, market conditions, and future considerations. In the startup world that I'm in, if we adjust the valuation of the company, we have to do a fairly robust analysis of the risk in making that adjustment. And we think that should be done for every house that a buyer is seriously considering and every seller. This quantitative information, though, must be integrated with Web 2.0 qualitative information. The amount of information coming locally from users and neighbors and residents should be integrated to give the consumer really great insight into exactly what's going on in the neighborhood. Number 7 is reforming the mortgage securitization process. We have wrecked the secondary market, and we must return trust. Originators, the loan originators, must retain some of the risk. That is the fundamental change that has to occur. The second is we've got to get tougher on the rating agencies. The SEC just came through with its new rules on the rating agencies, but it's not enough. There's a conflict of interest, in my opinion, about compensation, and those issues should also be resolved. Number 8 is we need to reduce settlement services costs. The costs are just too high. And throughout our economy, there's this incredible amount of consolidation going on in industries. And that's one of the consequences of the economy that's very scary. You don't want all the power consolidated in a few companies, and that's going to happen in the title industry here. We also need a low-cost title policy. Technology and changes in productivity make it possible to provide a low-cost title policy. Again, distrust. Consumers don't believe it. Finally, we should outlaw bundling of affiliated services without verifiable consumer savings. This was intended to make it easier and bring efficiency, but it too often was only an industry benefit. It was a way to pass off leads. We should prove the consumer savings in order for that to occur. And consumers need to better understand the terms and understand the pricing benefits, and should have the capacity to go online and shop for these services. Finally, we need to remove all of the barriers to alternative business models. Innovators break the black boxes. We need tough antitrust rules for people to try to interfere with innovation. At the same time, we need good laws to prevent scams that aren't truly innovation. But these innovators need to be encouraged, and they need to be funded, and they need to be our partners. And that's, again, what Connect is all about. So that brings me kind of to the conclusion of my talk before I bring on my buddy Craig Newmark. But I just wanted to tell you, again, Connect is about discussion, debate. We don't censor ideas. You can text me at 510-735-7904 or leave me a voicemail message anytime during the conference. We're going to have runners for mics for questions. We'll try to get as many to you as possible. I admit I am shamelessly guilty of not allowing as much time for that as I should because I have so many myself, but we're going to try hard to do that. Let's hash out these ideas. And also, if my zipper's down or something, make sure you text me right away. And I'd like to thank you for all being here. We have a great crowd, and it's just really amazing. So welcome to Real Estate Connect.